welcome to Ackland Avenue's ProjectWall Sprint 1 demo. We are starting a new project where we're going to be able to give a higher level of visibility into projects as they're happening, and we call this ProjectWall. Kind of like Facebook Wall, but all about the project. And we've finished the first sprint, and we're going to see what kind of progress we've made during these last 2 weeks. I'll hand this over to Dante and Saul.
Hi.
So we're going to start showing the new things that we have been done in the project. So I will start by sharing my screen. So now you can look at the screen. Okay, so we can start here looking at we have to log in to the app to the user on the site. First, this user. Okay, for now we are only have been working on this part, the part of projects, and we have two options on this screen that we can create a list of projects. So we can start creating a new project. This will be the option to adding all the stuff of the project. By now only have the name of on the objectives of the project, so we could add a test or test project. This will be okay. We could create this. Then when we create it, this will redirect us to our project list that is in this option. Also, the project, the objectives, the plugins that we already installed. Right now we are not installing anything. The available plugins for this project. Right now we only have GitHub working and Trello in some kind of stuff. It's not really working with Trello, but we already start the first part. And also you can add the due date for this project. So we could start adding a new plugin. We could add GitHub. So the first part is that I need to connect my user to a GitHub account. So I will go to my GitHub account and I will remove that. So now we click connect. This redirects us to the Ackland Avenue's application, ProjectWall, and we have this authorization from personal data and repositories, and we have the REST application, and that redirects us to the project. And now we could add the plugin. So we are going to add a repository for showing the most recent commits of that repo. So I could add a repo of my personal account or an organization account like Ackland Avenues or mine. So we could add Ackland's. I will use GitHub mobile for this demo, and then I will add this. When I click add this, add me the plugin to the installed plugins, and Also, I can the project is subscribing to all pushes of the GitHub repo, and when a push comes to the repo, you can see it in the wall. This is the wall of the project. Right now, we only have the GitHub mobile repo, so you can look at them here in a link. And if we had a push here, we could see the commits. So I will ask one of you guys if to do a push
I'll
just to
do it.
see to get GitHub mobile.
Let me see if I can get out there. Is it the master branch or is it any branch?
Any branch.
All right, so I'm gonna go as fast as I can. I'm adding, I'm committing.
So while Byron's doing that, can we work on the next step, which is probably the Trello board
Okay.
or the Slack?
Yeah.
Or Trello board.
Trello board. Okay. For Trello,
I just committed, by the way.
okay, we will see it when we go back. Okay, adding Trello for now, because of this sprint we didn't finish the part of integrating the real part of Trello, so we only have to add a plugin, but it's not showing anything today. So that will be for the next sprint. So we can add a test board like this right now, and we only have we can see that in the test project now we can see the hello world project commit and the wall of Trello. Here it comes all the activity, but that is not ready for this demo. And this is the UI of the board. We could add more plugins and add more like panels or anything that the project will require. And for these commits, we have a link to the committer, in this case Byron, and a link to the commit that show us all the changes that occurs in that commit. We didn't change anything, and we can see the responsible of the commit. And I think that's all for this part. Also, we can update the due date, but it's just setting the dates like this one. And that's all. That's ready. And I don't know if you have any question.
The other guys might have some questions. I think Colin does because he just put his microphone down. But I beat him to it.
I was going to say that Byron, you should ask questions because you know more about this product than I do.
And my questions might sprout some questions for you.
Okay.
So, how are you guys making this flexible enough to be able to add different types of plugins moving forward?
Okay, we are doing some abstraction and adding the plugins like an interface, an entity that is an abstract entity. So if we really need to add a new plugin like Slack or anything else, just we need to add the new implementation of that plugin, and to get the info is the same. Just the plugin creates the data that the front end should render, and that's the real stuff. For the front end, it's a little bit more hard code, but it will be changing to directives. I think we will be creating some directives on Angular to create the different interface for each one. And it's really simple to add a new plugin. The only part that is a little bit hard work is to integrate the external servers. It's because some kind of them have some different configurations or some different things. Like GitHub is really difficult to was really difficult to us because we are using Angular and GitHub don't allow us to put this character on a URL. So that make us to make uh, a real server route. Also for that, the other problem is that GitHub don't allow us to create that access token on the on the client, because we have to send a secret key that is uh, like a password for them, and so we can use that password on JavaScript. So that needs to be doing on the server. That's a lot of that. That's one of the things that take most for us. I think Trello is more easy to link, but that's the only part that maybe would have a lot of more work for adding a new plugin. But in the domain of us, of the project wall, is really easy. Just take the data from you want it. For now, we are using webhooks for GitHub. I think we are going to do the same with Trello.
Okay. Well, now that you've done a lot of work to get the GitHub started, if we were to add more plugins for GitHub, would it be less work?
Yeah, I think so. It will be less work because we already had a lot of infrastructure for the domain to the domain. Also, we have some abstraction on the user on the user entity, so it will be really fast to add a new link service. Just pull the data from the service, and that's all.
We could, for example, subscribe to the different events like comments, for example. Even we can identify the merge in the repositories and other stuff in GitHub. We have now a really cool understanding about the GitHub Happy to do this.
Cool. Dante, could you speak just a little bit about the architectural decisions that you all made, the overall architectural decisions? I've heard hexagonal.
Yes, Byron, you asked by how we could build another plugins and for another service. We do this because if we see, hello.
I can hear
Yes.
you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes. We see every different service like his own domain. We identify our core domain like the domain of projects. Yes. So we build the interface for our core domain to communicate and translate the information from the other plugins like Trello to fit in the project. If we see this, if we do this, if we do this because we could encapsulate the logic, specific logic for every service is in his own domain. I believe this is more easy to maintain because we can easily change the thing specific for GitHub, for Trello, and for another service. The hexagonal architecture allow this.
Cool. So would for instance, the GitHub, because I'm already envisioning some more plugins we can make just for GitHub. Would the GitHub domain contain possibly several plugins that all pertain to GitHub, or would each plugin have its own separate domain?
GitHub is one plugin, but GitHub could have several servers. Yes, Trello is his own domain logic. Yes, Trello will have another service. Yes.
Got it.
Colin, did that spark any ideas or questions?
Well, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to see, just trying to think of, what essential information is going to be useful to our, I would say, our more tech-savvy clients, or anybody. But, I think that some of our clients won't understand won't be familiar with um, you know, commits to GitHub or anything like that, but we can give them a high-level understanding of it. But I think that the idea of the wall is really just to help clients feel like, like things are moving smoothly, and just have an idea of that we're still working on things, and to mitigate that feeling of I have no idea what's happening, and when it's going to be done, or if they're even working on anything at all. So we just want to think about what other data that they could have, and I like what you've done. It's just a snapshot of the most recent things, but then they can link to all the activity if they want to. So if they see something on GitHub, but they want to see a little more, they can go to GitHub. So it's like a little snapshot, but what other information do you think might be useful for them to see on a daily basis?
Once we get something in front of some clients, we may have to start just asking that question. What would be the most helpful? We can probably dream up several things that we think might be useful to them, and it sounds like from the architectural decisions that we've made at the very beginning, we're going to be able to mold and morph and meld this application as it as we. I mean, that's the definition of agile, right? We don't know exactly what we want until our market tells us what we need.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. That sounds
good. Another question I have, and then Nathaniel had some questions. What if I want to? We've deployed this to production already. We got to test that to make sure that the URL is working. But let's just say that today we have a working production URL for this product. How can I, as a developer, as an administrator of my GitHub accounts, how can I create a project and then give a link to that project to my client who doesn't have a GitHub account? All they have is the link that I give them. Is that possible yet? So you're muted.
Yeah. Right now it's not possible because you have to log in and you don't have collaborators and anything like that. But we could add collaborators, and they don't really need to have a GitHub account.
So the only time you need the GitHub account is when you're actually linking, you're setting up that webhook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
That is like the administrator have to have access to all the services and add the plugins to the wall, but the wall is only, you only need to be like a member of the project, so maybe this it could be a new feature, adding members.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because you need to log into the ProjectWall, only that, not to GitHub, not to Trello, not to the other stuff.
Okay, so I was going to say, so this is sort of a follow-up question to what Byron was asking. So right now, I can create my own project wall, but I don't have members who can see my project wall that don't have a GitHub account, or GitHub account, for example, or don't have some of these other, they don't have a Trello board.
Sounds like they can't even see your wall because right now it's your personal wall. There's no collaboration between users.
Is that correct?
Yeah, right now, no. We don't have collaborators.
Okay. Is that one of the next steps that we're planning on doing so that we can then share it with clients?
Yes, I think this is part. This is the part of the board. If not, it will be part of that because it's really important to share these things.
Yeah.
And have collaboration. All these projects we have to work in teams, so it's really necessary.
Yes.
Maybe as a in-between step, maybe we can just make the projects page
public,
secure by obscurity, and just give it like a GUID ID where you have a URL that anybody can see publicly, and that just doesn't have any ability to add more plugins or make any changes. That might be an easy stopgap. I don't imagine that could happen today, but that would probably be a good next step.
I have to say, I really love the what we've got. How many days have you guys been working on it to get to this point?
It's been a 2-week sprint.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. I didn't know if you actually had done the full 2 weeks. Okay. That's great. That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Great
Okay,
job.
anything else? Camilo, you got nothing?
No, not right now. I was just mostly thinking about the thing that Colin was talking about that is it worth it to show to the client, for example, the GitHub commits. And one of the things that I was thinking is that clients, well, thinking about a client, I don't need like information about the GitHub stuff, the commits, but probably having information related from Trello to that GitHub commit, for example. If I need like any specific information about how this is going on, for example, I can easily go and instead of seeing the commits and the Trello activity, I can just see a list of the requirements that the client has asked for us. And after that, we could see a progress. For example, if we can have like that requirement is in 50% or it is done already or it is not, for example. Like trying to show like mostly how is the value of their project going on. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to be sharing with the client, for example.
That's good, Camilo. I think you're on the right track. The client wants to know. I think seeing those commits can help to show them that something's working. But they probably want to see, are we on track? Are we behind or are we ahead of what we said we were going to be doing? And what are we going to be delivering for each demo so that they can be prepared for that? That somehow to show that would be great.
Yeah, and I think that will be the problem for us because for now we are creating, for example, for each user story or each card in Trello, we are creating a branch in that. So probably we can have a way to match with the name of that branch and that user story, how's the progress going, for example. And in that way, when we move that card into done, the client will be immediately see, oh, this feature is already done. I can go ahead and test it, for example, something like that. And if they could probably they would like to see, yeah, if they want to see a detail, for example, of the commits or how we did that stuff, they could probably just go and see the activity, for example, like more detail for that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's only my thoughts that I was thinking about.
Good stuff.
But no question for now.
Cool. Well, we'll bring this demo to an end. Great job, Dante and Saul. Great looking progress. Feel like we've got a little bit of value at the end of this sprint, and we're probably really well poised to bring some extra grande value for the next sprint demo. So, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.